Yes.
Okay, it's a good start. A lot of good things out there, and then obviously, like any game, a lot of things that we have to improve on. Just start by saying this: really neat to see such a great crowd, especially on a holiday weekend, and I think that's a tribute to the way our kids play the game. You know, people want to come out and watch them play. So it was great to have a pretty good crowd out there today, and I think it'll get better as the season goes on. But like I said, a lot of good things. Obviously, getting a win, that's your primary objective every week. The thing that we have to continue to work on cleaning up is, penalties. They were aggressive penalties today, which is a little bit different than we've had in the past, rather than, in my opinion, sometimes lazy penalties or lack of focus penalties. So we'll continue to work hard on that. Another positive is we got to play a lot of guys. We got to play a lot of young players, and they did well. I think you finally saw what we've been seeing in guys like Soso and Bolu and Josh and some guys like that. And so it's a good start. But as the players understand, there's a lot of work to be done. We'll come back in tomorrow. We'll watch the film. We'll analyze it. We'll try to get better. And then we've got UNLV a week from tonight. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Is this what you expected from Josh in his first game?
I didn't know what to expect. I was really excited to see him play. I knew that he had a really great support group around him. I think what you saw today was an offensive line that has played together well and gave him some time to make some throws. I think what you saw today is a receiving group that can get open and make some tough catches. They know how to position their body. And then you saw a freshman quarterback that took advantage of that, took advantage of the protection and threw the ball to the guys that can make plays. So, I didn't know what to expect. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be too big for him, but it's just one game, so let's just do this. Okay? It's one game.
Yeah, Jim, you're saying just do this, but you know how this town is. You know how the buzz is. What can you do in there to keep it low, to keep the expectations low, to keep that?
Yeah, Bill, our goal every day really is to just shut out the noise and try to work off of our expectations rather than outside expectations. And we'll be hypercritical of everything that all of our players did, not just Josh. And we'll be hypercritical of every decision we made as coaches. And I think that's what you do. You don't let anything slip. When you win, you don't just brush something aside because you won. As a matter of fact, you probably come back and you're a little bit tougher, in your analysis. So that's what we'll do.
Didn't look like Nate Starks was suited up, but what's...
He didn't play today. Yeah, he didn't play.
All right.
I'm going to give you a Belichick. Go ahead, ask me why he didn't play.
Why didn't he play?
We played other players.
How have you been able to keep your players focused on the game instead of on all the noise or outside distractions that have been going on this summer?
That's kind of a mantra of ours, is don't listen to the noise. Focus on the things that you can control. And I feel like we've reached a level of maturity to some extent. We're always trying to grow. We're a little bit more professional, I believe, in our approach as a team. I'm talking about the team members. And they've learned how to kind of zoom focus, block out all the things that don't matter and just worry about taking care of the things that they can control. So there's a level of maturity here finally that I haven't seen for a few years. And it's good. We need to keep building on that and enforcing it and emphasizing it.
Hey, Jim. What did you see? I know you have to see the film still, but what did you see in your defense that looked better, looked crisper than what you guys were doing last year?
I felt like we were more solid, more consistent against the run. And they broke a couple, but I felt like we were more consistent against the run. I felt like we lost contain a couple times against the quarterback, but in general, our containment of the quarterback was pretty good, and I thought we tackled well. I thought we stayed on our feet and tackled well. There's some plays in there that they made that we have to be realistic. That every team's going to have the ability to make some plays, but the primary objective of all defense is to keep them out of the end zone and get the ball back for your offense. And we kept them out of the end zone. We got the ball back for offense once, and they were able to score. So a lot of things we can improve on there as well, though.
Jim, since day one, you've talked about Josh's potential and his expectations, but until he was in this setting and in this scene, you wouldn't know. Was there ever a deer in the headlights? It sure didn't seem like it. And what was your thoughts on his overall maturity, so to speak, in an opening game?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I did not see a deer in the headlights look with him at all. I didn't think that I would either. No, I didn't know how he'd perform, but I didn't get the feeling that it was going to be too big for him. You know, he was very in the moment. Before the game, last night, during the game. This is a mature young man, you know, and he handled it well. Now, it's only going to get harder for him because, you know, he has some success, and people are going to start patting him on the back and tell him how great he is and all that. And we've got to do the best we can, like I said, to make sure he doesn't listen to the noise, you know, and keep pushing him, and keep demanding a lot out of him, and keep, you know, supporting him as we've tried to do.
Jim, sort of a follow-up on that, and maybe Josh doesn't have to hear this answer, because my question is, you've seen so many quarterbacks before in your coaching career, and even before that. You see him, you see his talents, you know his age and everything. What do you think is this young man's potential? And again, maybe we shouldn't let him hear the answer.
Yeah, I can't. If you don't want him to hear the answer, then I can't answer it, because those kids hear everything nowadays. His potential is what he determines his potential is going to be through his work ethic and his commitment.
But all said and done, was there anything he did that made you say, wow? Anything?
Bill, he didn't do anything I haven't seen him do yet. I'll say that. I thought the throw to Thomas Duarte was a little bit of a, ooh, that's pretty good, but I can't say that I haven't seen it before. You know, I have seen it before. I haven't seen it in a game, but I've seen it in practice. So, you know, when you see it in a game, it's a little, it counts actually. You know, you get those points, you get to keep them.
Coach, your pass protection looked much improved against Virginia this year. How much do you attribute that to Josh's pocket presence, and how much to the offensive line, which I know you've been talking about all fall?
I think the primary credit goes to the offensive line, our tight ends, Nate Esse, Thomas Duarte stayed in there and blocked some, Chris Clark stayed in and blocked some, our running backs did a nice job in protection. And then, you know, Josh has, for a young guy, he has pretty good pocket presence. You know, he generally stays between the tackles. And I think when you're an offensive lineman and you understand where the quarterback's going to be, it helps you a little bit. And so, but I think the primary credit should go to those guys. And they've worked really hard to get where they are. And once again, they're not perfect. There's a lot of things we need to do better. You know, we saw Caleb get beat on the up and under. He's got to learn to be a little bit more patient. But you know, I like the direction we're headed with those guys. They're mature, calm. They don't get rattled. You know, they understand our scheme. They play together well. There's a consistency. It's nice to have that finally.
Couple more.
So Josh seemed to throw a lot to players that had very good coverage. How have you guys been able to build up that trust between him and his receivers to throw in such hard coverage?
You know what, Josh every day goes against a pretty darn good defense. You know, we've got a pretty good defense, and so he's been challenged really through all of spring and all of fall camp to make difficult throws, and so I don't think it really flusters him to throw it in there. And I think he has great confidence in his receivers. You know, we've got a big group of receivers. Our receivers are big guys, you know, and so there's a target there for him. The thing that impressed me was not that he threw it to him, but his ball placement at times. You know, I thought his ball placement was good on a lot of those throws, and that's something we've seen as well. You know, I mean, putting it low and away where a guy has to dive for it, sometimes some people might say, well, that's not a very good throw, but if it's the only throw, it's a very good throw, and I saw that a few times.
With a true freshman, what can we read into the guys playing today and not playing today? Are you planning on redshirt the guys who didn't play? Or?
No, I wouldn't read much into that. You know, we had a plan to get some guys in there at the end. We wanted to get Freddie Luperi in there, and we just didn't have a chance. You know, the way the clock ran out. But I wouldn't read anything into that right now. No, I wouldn't read anything into that. I mean, we have a general plan of what we'd like to do in terms of guys redshirting and playing guys, but I wouldn't read much into it at this point in time.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.